All right, guys, the Flexible here. I want to welcome you to Hipability. So, I just want to go over a kind of a brief overview of what to expect on the program and my thought process behind it. So that way, for those of you that are maybe thinking about doing it but haven't made the switch, you get some idea of what you're getting yourself into. And for those that have already signed up for it, again, I just want to say welcome. And even for you, I'm just going to do a brief overview of what to expect. All right, so as you know, it is the Hipability program. It's basically designed for exactly like it sounds. So a little bit about my background is I was a baseball player for about 14 years, and I probably played baseball 300 out of 365 days a year. And it's pretty much the only sport I played. So because I specialized so heavily into baseball so early, I had a lot of body issues that didn't really show up until probably about my senior year, and then showed up even more after I graduated and tried to get into more weightlifting, CrossFit, and that kind of thing way back when I really started my fitness journey about, 10, 11 years now. So I myself dealt with a lot of hip issues. I was told that I had leg length discrepancy. I was told that I had scoliosis, and not that I was born with scoliosis, but I had developed some sort of scoliosis from playing baseball, again because I was so rotated, and you guys know the deal by this point. Hips, spine, shoulder, everything was pretty much out of alignment, out of whack. So over the years, I've worked with physios, I've worked with chiros, some good, some bad, and all those same methods of manual manipulation and the short-term stretching and all these different things, the generic 3 sets of however many reps of band, pull aparts, and all these different things, of course, were assigned. And I never really got anywhere. So it wasn't until I really started utilizing proper strength and flexibility training that I was able to fix all of those issues. So that's where the Hipability program essentially was born, is we saw the success that Ben had with his knee program, and if anyone was to do a hip program, I was going to be the guy. So I just want to start by saying there's a few different capacities of which your hips should be able to display. Okay, the first and the most important, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, is going to be rotation, both external rotation and internal rotation. Okay, almost every single person that I've worked with prior to ATG and within the ATG system has some sort of deficiency in the hip rotation, which can cause all sorts of different issues down the chain and up the chain. Shoulder, back, ankle, knee, etc. Rotation is very, very important, and you're going to dive very heavily into developing a good base and capacity of hip rotation no matter what your sport or goal is for improving your hips, okay? Also, we have extension. All right, so extension, like think about engagement of the glute, kind of leg behind you, right? Things that are needed for running and sprinting and jumping and all the different things that we do as athletes and that are needed for our sport. Flexion, okay, so flexion is, think about bringing the knee into the chest or the leg in front of you, okay, sort of that hamstring flexibility, that kind of range of motion, that would be hip flexion. Okay, abduction or abduction, so think legs away from the body or knees away from the body, and then you have adduction, adduction, which is knees towards or legs towards the body. Okay, so these are all the different capacities of the hip and what you should be able to display, not just as an athlete, but as a human being. And if you lack any of these qualities of the hip, you're going to start running into different issues. Okay, and whatever brought you here, I promise you that training all these different capacities of the hip, which most of these are not trained in a weightlifting program, not in the full extent that I've designed it. Chances are you are here because of FAI. Maybe you have hip pain. Maybe you have low back pain. Maybe you even have knee pain or some other things that maybe you're trying to address that other methods really never solve for you. And this is going to be a big first step. You're going to learn a lot about your hips just in the first 6 weeks of this program. So with that being said, we're going to move over here. The program is currently 6 weeks, but it's an expanding program. So this is going to continue to just grow and grow and grow and grow. So that way, people that are coming on, They have tons of a huge, massive program to get on, but that there's expanding progressive difficulty as the program goes through. So the first 6 weeks are going to be, probably considered pretty regressed for most people. But as you know, here at ATG, that's kind of what we do, is we take people a couple steps back and we look at some things before we start to move forward. Okay. So this is going to be expanding. I plan to have the second phase up hopefully within the next week. That is definitely the plan. So for those of you that started Hipability and have already been on it for a few weeks, it will be ready to go by the time you finish this first cycle. Okay. It is a full body program. So this does include upper body. Just from historically trying to address lower body issues, we realize that people still want to train their upper body, and of course, we believe in training your upper body. So just like the hips, even though it is Hipability, you will be training full body, and you will be regressing back to some very basic exercises to improve certain functions of the shoulder, again, like rotation, flexion, and all these different things, qualities that a lot of people find that they are lacking in their shoulders. Okay, it is 3 strength days, so you're basically going to have a day 1, day 2 strength, day 3 flexibility, and then you're going to have off, and then you're going to have another day of strength and another day of flexibility, and then off, and then basically repeat. Okay, so 3 strength days, 2 flexibility days. The workout should be there should be no more than an hour. So I've not had anybody who's taken really too much longer than an hour to complete the workout. So maybe your first time through, it's going to take a little longer as you're learning the exercises and the videos and all those things. But really, it should be an hour per workout, including the stretching, and the stretching is a little less. And really minimal to no equipment required. So almost every exercise is demonstrated without equipment. But for this first 6 weeks, especially because the situation in which this was filmed and designed, we're all experiencing lack of access to certain equipment or gyms right now, or we simply don't feel comfortable going to gyms, which is perfectly fine. So I made it minimal to no equipment, especially for this first phase. But going forward into future phases, the goal is to expand that and really get into some more of your traditional weight training, but while developing and keeping in a lot of these other qualities. Okay, because I do believe in the importance of development of the squatting pattern and the hinging pattern and all these things, and I use that in my own training. So of course I would put that into your training once we are ready to do that. Okay, and the last thing before you get started on the Hipability program, or really any program that I design, it is going to be upon my recommendation to make sure that everybody who's on my program, you go to the website, you log in, you go to the members page, you're going to click on range of strength, so not the drop down menu. Just click on range of strength, which this will be changing soon, and I will have a video coming out about that very shortly as well. But for now, you're going to click on range of strength, and there's a series of videos which to me are basically the educational basics of developing flexibility. I have videos about tempo. I have videos about how to progress load. So it's really a lot of the most basic questions that you're going to have going into any strength program, and I've made videos to address those questions. And of course, if you still have questions, you have my personal WhatsApp. Please feel free to reach out and message me. So I think that pretty much covers everything. Again, Hipability program, it is full body, strength days, flexibility days, minimal to no equipment. The program is expanding, but currently you have 6 weeks there. And again, these are all the capacities at which we're going to be training the hip, okay? And again, any severe degree of basically lack of development in any of these areas is for most people is going to start to show up as different things in the body. Again, it could be shoulders, it could be the hips themselves, it could be the knees, it could really be anything. So my goal was to give you everything I know from training people for the last 8 years, getting hundreds of people their splits, getting hundreds of people out of back pain and out of shoulder pain and all these different things, and really deliver it to you in a quality program that is very well thought out. And again, you will cover a lot of different areas that many trainers overlook, and the biggest one really being rotation, because even if you just came to this program to squat better, your knees, your ankles, your hips, all those things rotate when you're in a squat. Even though you probably have been told anti-rotation, anti-rotation, those joints actually have to rotate for you to complete the movement. We do live in a three-dimensional world. So that's pretty much all I have to say. I look forward to seeing you guys in the program. If that doesn't answer everything for you about the HIPAbility program and you're still thinking about signing up, just shoot me a message. Again, I'm willing to answer any questions that you may have on it, but I feel like this is a great overview. So again, thank you so much for your guys' support. Thank you for believing in me and trusting me, and I'm really looking forward to coaching you through this.